your turn to...
Oh, is it for me?
Consider yourself fired.
Why are you winking at me?
Consider yourself fired.
Hello, and welcome to the JT and Drew Show. I'm JT.
And I'm Drew.
And we're two nobodies talking about nothing.
Consider yourself fired. Well, hey, JT, welcome back to the show.
Hey, go ahead and start whenever you want, bud.
Yeah, I usually do. So welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me. Glad to be here. Glad to not be recorded. So,
yeah. Are you spinning your tassels again?
I am. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
gosh.
great.
I'm glad this is not being visual recorded.
Yeah.
Our fans would not. I can barely handle it. I'll put it that way.
They're bright.
Especially when
I
you
got
keep
the new
putting them
ones.
in my face.
Well, yeah, these ones have the LED lights on.
Why is it salty?
Don't ask questions you
Okay.
don't want answers to.
Speaking of salty,
Ooh, okay.
I've got one for you.
Yeah.
You're a racist white supremacist, and you know how I know?
Okay, how do you know?
Because you're white.
Oh. Well, I'm not apologizing.
So I'll take an apology any moment now, and
Hold
I'm
your
sure
breath.
our listeners would appreciate it as well.
Hold your breath.
I can't hold it for that long.
Yeah, no, you sure can't.
But that's what we're going to be talking about today.
I'm fixing to turn you blue, boy.
That's what she proclaimed. Yikes.
I wish.
So we're going to be talking about, is white supremacy and being white the same thing? Are they synonymous? Are they interchangeable? Are they one and the same?
All right. This sounds like a touchy subject.
Oh, yes. And you know how much I like to push buttons.
Yeah, you do.
I push all the buttons because I usually don't know what I'm doing.
That's true. That is 100% true.
Even sometimes trying to get to Google, I push too many buttons.
No, your problem is you type in Google, you hit enter, and 2 seconds later you're already trying to click the mouse to hurry the website along. I'm like, dude, it's got to get time to load. It should already be loaded.
Yeah, and then when it
man.
does load, it clicks on something else because I've already clicked 20 times, and now I hit the back button.
20 times, and then
Yeah.
you're like, I'm feeling lucky, and it's...
Yeah, start all over, rinse and repeat, man.
So this touchy subject of if you're white, you're automatically a white supremacist.
Yes. So, according to a very, very reliable, upstanding source, The View, and I say that with 1,000,000% sarcasm.
I didn't catch it. Sorry.
Yeah. If you recall, recently, there was a shooting in Allen, Texas at a shopping mall.
I know that place.
Yeah. Well, apparently the shooter was Hispanic or of Hispanic descent, some kind of form of Hispanic, Latin, I don't know what kind, but some kind.
Okay.
Well, The View's, one of their hosts, Anna Navarro, said that being Hispanic or being black does not, or being anything, does not make you immune from being racist. Okay, I agree so far. From being radicalized.
Okay.
Yeah. No, yeah. Go ahead.
No, I'm about to say, I agree with you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the color of your skin, you can be racist.
Yep. Anybody. So far, so good.
Okay.
This is where it gets a little tricky. So being black or white or anything, Hispanic, does not make you immune from being a white supremacist, from being evil, from being homicidal.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes.
What?
Yeah. So I could be a Hispanic male and be a white supremacist. Now, they're saying this because the shooter, they believe, or they want to believe. They're on a manhunt right now, kind of trying to find any kind of evidence that would corroborate the story that this guy is a right-wing white supremacist radical, and that he held those beliefs. So even though he's Hispanic, it doesn't matter. He's a white supremacist, and that's why we need more gun control.
Yes, because more gun control is better for America.
And moving on to kind
go.
of paint this picture even more crazy, in my opinion, there was a former host from ESPN and an activist, so they did a bit together, or a show, or whatever they call it, and they said that there were these 5 black officers. I don't know if you remember this. It happened a little while back. Excuse me. This happened a little while back, but there were 5 black officers that beat Tyree Nichols. Get this.
Okay.
According to this former ESPN host and this activist, these 5 black officers that beat another black man were motivated by white supremacy. Yeah, let that sink in for a second.
Yeah, I'm sitting here closing my eyes trying to make it make sense. But, okay.
Okay, now let's fast forward a little bit. Oh, go ahead.
I'm writing my comments down.
Yeah, please do, because I'd
So-
love to hear them.
Well, right. Well, I'm not being really active with coming back, and I'm sure some people are going to be like, "Ooh, what is he going to think about that?" I'm writing it down. We'll come back to this.
Okay.
Because I'd love to hear what these individuals have to say, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So please proceed.
As I was.
As you think you were.
He, him, them, they. I don't know all the
Zer?
other ones.
It's Zer.
Pronounced sir, but sure.
What's that?
Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, ever heard of him? He's a black man.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
You might want to start calling him Uncle Tom, because he pushed white supremacy ideology.
Wasn't Uncle Tom the hero in that book?
Dude, I don't even remember.
Okay.
But again, black man, white supremacist. So there's an underlying theme here, and we'll talk more about that here in a little bit. But
Please.
I'm just putting it down, seeing if you're picking it up.
Okay, yeah.
If you remember, again, on The View, one of the co-hosts, she goes by Sunny Hostin. Her real name is Asuncion Hostin.
Okay.
She called one of the black Republicans, or she called the statement black Republicans an oxymoron. And she even attacked Nikki Haley, who was on the show one day, calling her a chameleon for not embracing her ethnicity and using her real name. So Nikki Haley's real name, her legal name, her birth certificate, is Nimarata Nikki Rondawa Haley. Probably butchered that crazily.
Yeah, you probably did.
But that's on her birth certificate. She goes by Nikki, which I guess is one of her middle names.
Yeah.
So you have Asuncion Hostin, who goes by her nickname Sunny. You want to know why?
Why is that, Drew? Please tell me.
Because most Americans can't pronounce Asuncion because of the undereducation in our culture. So you're too stupid to know how to say her first name, so she's just going to go by a nickname.
Public education, number 1.
But, and that's okay, but the other person, they're just not embracing their ethnicity. So they're a chameleon by going by their actual not God-given, parents-given middle name.
Yeah.
That's terrible. You can't do that. But I can go by a made-up name because you're too stupid to know my real name.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, my friend, I think takes the prize. It is the icing on the cake. The cherry nuzzled in the whipped cream on the top of your Sonic Blast. No affiliate link below. Not sponsored.
Not at all.
Yet.
Listen here, Sonic, we're coming for you.
So according to social justice educator, and this one kind of threw me for a loop. I didn't dig into this person too much, but educator. Can't make this up. According to social justice educator Robin DiAngelo, quote, "If you're a white person in America, you're racist, pure and simple. And without a lifetime of conscious effort, you always will be. You can't help it. You've been swaddled in the cocoon of white privilege since sputtering out of your mother's womb, protesting the indignity of it all." End quote. So, JT, you may not know it, or you may know it, but you choose not to recognize it or address it.
Mm-hmm.
But you are a racist, pure and simple.
Well, it's coming from the experts, and the experts know me better than me. So
Yeah, they sure do. And without a lifetime of conscious effort, meaning, without you acknowledging it explicitly and apologizing for it and paying me reparations, you always will be.
Okay. Really?
Mm-hmm. You just can't help it.
Yeah, no, I apparently I can't.
Mm-hmm. You and your white privilege. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Somebody give me the khakis. There's a khakis.
I gotta go wash my car.
Yeah. So all of that said,
Yeah.
the underlying theme or tone is white bad, color good. White racist, white equals white supremacy, white guilty. And there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to embrace it. And you can't really learn from your mistakes. And you can't, your parents and grandparents and great-grandparents can't have learned from theirs either, because they're all inherently racist. So I would kind of like to, I guess, peel back the layers a little bit and get your perspective. Like, what was your privileged childhood like?
I'm sure it was like many of most Americans, where I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth.
It was gold?
No. I want to say it was
made of dollar bills, yo?
Not at all.
Oh.
Probably made of some pennies. It's very coppery.
You rich white folk always talking about your money.
So I had actually, I've heard that last one. It was a video, I think, either on TikTok or YouTube or whoever. And when I heard that, you know how you hear something and just automatically your blood boils?
Yes.
And you just, kind of like Elvis Presley, you just want to take out your 6-shooter and shoot the TV, and because you couldn't find the remote to change channel. It's what I wanted to do to my phone. I don't know. It was Elvis Presley rage. So, but he had money to go out and buy TVs. So I don't. I don't have money to go out and buy phones. So
you just have money for guns to shoot TVs?
I don't.
That sounds very white supremacist of you.
Yeah. So when I heard that, instant boil of the blood, and I'm doing my best to kind of stay calm, and so that way the editors don't have to use the bleep button.
Thank you.
But a big, you're number one. How could anybody tell any person of a certain skin color that they are automatically racist without being racist themselves? I mean, the way I grew up was it takes one to know one, right?
Yeah.
That was a big saying that my parents always shoved down my throat. That and let it roll off your back and blah, blah, blah.
Because it's
That
wet?
didn't really work either. No.
There you go again with the racist jokes.
That's you, sir.
Thought the producers talked to you.
So, I 100% disagree, obviously. I've met plenty of wonderful, genuine white people in my life. From growing up to, being an adult. But I think that just comes from the people that they are. I'm not talking about my childhood, so you can scratch that. We already know about my childhood. If you haven't heard about my childhood, you can listen to season 1 of the JT and Drew Show. Because we kind of go through that there. So I'm not going to continue to bring up the past and all that. It might be in season 2. You might want to listen to season 2.
If I'm not mistaken, I recall you saying something to the effect of poor kids are just as smart as white kids.
Why would I say that?
Oh, yep, you're right. That was Biden.
Yeah, that was good old POTUS.
Yeah, you're right. But you're both white, so you're guilty.
Oh, am I? White people bad, except for this old guy that we want to be president.
Right? White people bad. Keep putting them in charge.
Yeah.
But if you've listened, though, over the past few months, he's not really white. When he was in Ireland,
he's everything else.
He's Irish. When he went to Puerto Rico, he's Puerto Rican. When he's talking to black people, he was raised by black people. I mean, he's everything. Talk about a chameleon.
No, he wasn't raised by black people. He went to the black church and got raised there.
Yes, thank you. I
You're
was
welcome.
too stupid to remember that correctly because I'm brown.
That's what I'm here for. Just try to lead you on the right path.
Well played.
I don't have privilege. I've never heard, growing up, I've never heard of me personally having a better opportunity than anyone else.
Yeah.
And if you wanted something in this world, you needed to buckle down and work hard for it. It was never anything about, oh, well, you're white, so don't worry about it. You've got this. I've never heard that.
Nope.
Until Trump was president and it was pushed. And now this presidency where it's just blown up out of proportion.
Yeah.
Where not me as well, me personally, right? So like when I go out to public and I see Hispanics or blacks or anything, my back of my mind, I'm sitting there going, oh God, do these people hate me now because of my skin color? Like, I shouldn't walk down the street and have to think that. But it's kind of like in the back of my mind, like, holy mackerel, like, what message is getting pushed out that people are actually believing and not going to come and talk to me as a person, right? To know me.
Yeah.
I have never thought, the thought has never come into my mind where I see a person of a different skin color and go, oh my God, I am way better than them. I've never seen that. And another thing that really gets me is, I guess this big thing now where it's culture appropriation,
yeah.
where, like there was a video of a little white girl who wanted braids and somebody was like, you can't do that. Why? Like,
because they're stealing their identity. They're stealing
the braids
African
are called
culture.
No, they're not. Listen, the braids are called Dutch braids.
Well, but see, that doesn't help the narrative. So that's irrelevant.
Well, it could be whatever you want it to be. You college words.
You remember back in 2016, 17-ish, Moana had come out. It was real popular.
Oh, yeah.
They had Moana Halloween costumes, and little kids, what do? They want to be like their favorite movie characters.
Yeah.
And people were coming on social media tearing these kids down. You know, oh, this white kid shouldn't be allowed to dress like that because that's cultural appropriation. Are you kidding me? It's a Halloween costume is what it is. They're dressing like that because that's what they like.
Yeah. Well, let me take it back even further. Go back to the 90s. Pocahontas.
Ah, yes.
Remember that?
Yep.
Halloween came out. It was a lot of little girls dressing like Pocahontas.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a problem then? Why is it a problem now?
Yep.
It's a character in a movie. Do you know the history of that character? Most people don't. Was it a bad situation in the real history? 100%. But that's history. You learn from it and move on.
Right.
Just like what I don't like now, where, and we've talked about this in different shows, where these people want to go back to segregation. They want colored spaces and they want white spaces. Where is that getting this country? That's not progress.
No, well, they think it's going to be beneficial.
No, it's not, because let's say this. You and me are taking engineering classes, right?
Okay.
You and me are the top students in this class. If these people have it their way, you and me will never be able to collaborate our ideas against each other to then maybe make something even better, say for the country or for a job or for whatever. Because you have your space, I have my space, and you and me are not allowed to talk.
Yeah. Well, and
we're going back.
Put another lens on that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We have separate spaces, right? We have two different engineering classes. You have the white kids engineering class, and I have the brown kids engineering class.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other message that sends? Maybe, perhaps, I'm not smart enough to be in the white engineering class.
Well, that depends on where the bar's at as far as the grading system, right? Yours might be a little easier than mine.
80%, baby. That's all I need.
That's what I'm talking about, 80%.
Hell yeah, brother.
But, yeah, what message does that send?
Mm-hmm.
You and me should, obviously we don't care about skin color, but you and me, if we're the top people in our class, should be able to bounce ideas off each other to then possibly come up with something even better.
Yeah. How do you think vaccines are created? How do you think medicine evolves? How do you think, like you said, engineering, new concepts are created?
Science. I mean, like you said, medicine, but like astrophysics.
Yeah.
You know, we have all of these smart, brilliant people in the world. Skin color, hang on. Intelligence doesn't care about your skin color.
No, it doesn't.
Just like viruses don't care about your skin color. So what's the point?
Well, and I think I talked about this in one of our other episodes, the saying of if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Yes.
And that's kind of what we've done. We're not standing for anything anymore as a society. So with the whole, there are an endless number of pronouns. What do you want to be called? What do you want to be, or what do you want to transition to, or whatever? Why does that not work the same then for your outside identity? If we're going to throw science out the window and say that, hey, I'm going to be a woman now. I'm just a woman with a partner downstairs. Why can't I say, like Rachel Dolezal, I'm a black woman. That's how I identify, as a black woman. And then that should allow me to go into those colored spaces. That should allow me to, I don't know, XYZ, fill in the blank. Why is that not acceptable? Hey, look at Elizabeth Warren, right? She was whatever tribe Indian that she really wasn't.
Yeah.
But we're so quick to, we'll throw the science out on gender and sex because they're two different things. And, the baby hasn't decided what it wants to be. But what about the other side of that then? I mean, playing devil's advocate, why can't we do that with everything? Well, no, you can't do that. Only
Yeah,
this, because this is the story we're pushing.
Yeah, this is my narrative, and it needs to match this.
Yeah.
My truth, what you're pushing doesn't match my truth.
Yeah. There is no truth. It's just my truth, your truth, everyone else's truths. It's all objective or subjective. It's whatever you want that could be different from somebody else, but that doesn't mean that they're wrong or that you're wrong. You're just both right in your own way, because there is no standard. There is no rule.
Yeah. I know we talk about this squeaky wheel getting the grease, but at this point, I think this squeaky wheel has become a problem. And you, me, anybody else who's still got some sense needs to be fighting back on this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I think reading what we did at the top of the show there, going through those different articles,
yeah,
not only does it paint the picture for me, white man bad, colored man good, but also I find a underlying narrative of, if you don't align with me politically, if you don't align with me ideologically, politically, then you are a white supremacist.
Well,
and
yes.
And by aligning with me, I mean, if you don't have the same liberal views that I do or democratic views that I do, then you are automatically an intolerant, bigot, white supremacist. How dare you?
Right. I think in the broader general aspect of it, from what you were talking about, yes. However, I think if we're narrowing it down, if you are the same skin color as the person that said it and you don't agree with it, I'm going to throw you in this other category with white supremacists.
Yeah.
So you as a black person and me as a black person, and say I'm a conservative and they're a liberal, and we think differently because our viewpoints are different, well, that liberal's going to call me a white supremacist, but yet we're both black, which in that statement is an oxymoron.
Yeah, well, look at Candace Owens, prime example.
Oh, yeah.
How many debates have we seen, or not even debates, chats, conversations, talk shows, whatever, where she's been on there talking to other black people, men, women, other white people, just other people in general, and they are consequently categorizing her as a race traitor. Well, you're not really black.
Yeah.
Because you don't think like me. And she's even fought back on that. Oh, okay, so, all black people are supposed to think the way that you want them to, huh?
Yeah. Which, no.
No.
She doesn't have to.
No. Nobody has to. No race has to check the boxes of somebody else's idea of them.
Right.
We're all individuals.
Exactly.
Like you said earlier, we should be peers. If we're in that same engineering class and there's a white, Hispanic, an Asian, a black person, an Indian, a Korean, go on and on and on. They're all individuals that are contributing. The term that we grew up with, melting pot. America is a melting pot.
Yes, it is, of culture and ideas.
Mm-hmm. And that's how we grow. That's how we progress.
Yeah, that is the best thing about America, is that we, as a people, can come together and share ideas.
Yeah. Yep. I can remember all throughout childhood, growing up, elementary, middle school, high school, there weren't any issues. Now, I didn't know everybody in the school.
Right.
But there weren't any abrupt issues, loud issues of, well, we have students that are identifying as the other gender or the opposite gender, and that's, you need to be culturally sensitive toward that. You need to be more aware. There were people that were gay, or they claimed to be gay, or they were confused, or they were bi, or they just weren't sure what the hell they were. It's middle school, it's high school. But there wasn't what there is today. And we didn't have the issue with, oh, well, all the kids, they hate all the Mexicans, so sucks for me. We didn't have that. Now, there were some people, some individuals that had issues like that. But I don't recall, like, our little childhood society, if you will, having that issue. Now, I know our parents went through some of that when they were growing up, but that's the way it was at that time.
Exactly.
So it seems odd to me that this is such an issue now, today, and the way that they're pushing it is, well, this is the system. Again, I personally have not experienced that. I've been harassed before. I've dealt with, a bad cop or two. But I've not, I have. But I have not ever been in a situation where it's like, oh, great, the system's out to get me. All police are bad. I'm afraid to walk out my door at night because I don't glow in the dark. Is
that what you think we do?
You don't?
No.
Oh, dang. But you know what I mean? It just, it wasn't there.
No.
It still isn't there. I don't see it. And maybe I'm just the one blind guy in the whole world that doesn't see it. But I don't see it. Now, again, individuals, there are some individuals, some bad apples out there. Not denying that.
No.
But I don't think the system is. If the system is, and Biden has been in the system for over 40 years, why is he blaming everything on one guy that has been in the system for 4 years?
Yeah.
He had over 40 years to make some change, bud.
Yeah, but if you go back and look at it, a lot of that change that he wanted to make was not helping areas of color. I don't want to say people of color, I'm saying areas.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He was going whichever way the wind blew at the time.
Yeah. He's been doing that for 50 years. I know you said 40, but I think he's in 50 because he was 47 before he got to be the president.
Well, just remember, if you don't vote for him, you're not black.
Yeah, that's not racist. I'm sorry. I'm gonna quote a comedian, and I'm gonna do a really bad rendition of this.
Okay.
But Dave Chappelle, you know him?
Name rings a bell.
Yeah, one of the best comedians of our time. Personal opinion. Had a similar situation on what you're talking about, where when he was a kid, his dad wouldn't let him touch the thermostat. It was really cold inside the house, and he makes it funny, right?
Mm-hmm.
He, not to his dad, but said it out loud, said, "I hate being poor." And his dad said, "Son, poor is a mindset.
Mm.
You are not poor. You are broke."
Yeah.
Right? Like I did his is obviously way funnier than what I could ever quote him on. But that's kind of like what it is now. All this that's going on is a mindset. It's not reality.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
The reality of the society is you need to worry about yourself, get what you need done, pay your bills, pay your taxes, and eventually croak.
Yeah. Well, and
Welcome
I feel like
to the real world.
I feel like you and I, we grew up in pretty big towns, pretty big cities, if you will.
Well, can I say my hometown on here?
Sure.
My hometown is Allen, Texas. It's really popular right now.
Ooh, it is though.
It is.
And I'm afraid to drive through there by myself without having you in the passenger seat.
Oh my goodness!
Because you're like the one white guy I know. So
I tell you what, growing up in Allen. Growing up in Allen, when I grew up there, most of it was farms. Not like I'm not talking like Pennsylvania farm Amish country. I'm not talking about that. We're 5 minutes, depending on how and where you're driving, outside of Plano. Plano's been huge for years. It's just an extension of Dallas. But Allen was, you got out of Dallas, went to Richardson, on to Plano, and then once you left Plano, it was kind of like, oh, it's country. There's farms and crop fields and things out here. Not saying that we didn't have things. We did. It was a really nice town. And then you went into McKinney, which was another big town.
Yeah.
And then you continue all north, and like 45 minutes later, you're in Oklahoma. So,
yeah, but Allen is still considered, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's still considered part of the Metroplex.
It is, yes. Allen didn't start growing to what it was or what it is now until probably about the early to mid 2000s. So roughly about the time I left, Allen was growing.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate what has happened there with this individual. Do I think that this individual is a white supremacist? Obviously no, because he's Mexican. Is there a problem with white supremacy in Allen? No, never seen it. Not in a million years. Allen has had all sorts of people there. I remember growing up and walking to a 7-Eleven off of McDermott and Greenville. If you're from Allen, you'll know what I'm talking about. 7-Eleven's been there for like 800 years. I remember walking there, and the only people that used to run that store were Indian people. Nicest people you'll ever meet. Okay. There is a donut shop in Allen. It's been there for 25 plus years, called Max's Donuts. And if you're from the Metroplex and you love Max's Donuts, I'm right there with you. Every time I go back home, I'm always getting it. Best donuts in Texas, my personal opinion. They have been running that, family of Asians have been running that store for 25 plus years. Allen has been one of the best towns, and quite honestly, I don't like going back, but I don't like going back because it's getting bigger. But Allen's has always been one of the best towns to have ever grown up in because of the melting pot, as you said, of everybody being there. There has never, from my experience, has ever been an issue with any person hating another person because of the color of their skin. Allen has always been open to everybody, and it's a wonderful town. Now, talk to me about Allen outside of the podcast and what I'm saying. I'll tell you a little bit more about it, but overall, generally, Allen is a really, really awesome town in Texas.
Yeah.
Great place to have raised a family. Now, it's so busy. It's like you haven't even left Dallas yet. It's so big. There's so much there to do. But the people there are still really super nice. I've never had a problem. I've never had a problem with any of those towns. Plano, McKinney, Frisco. I've never had a problem with any of them.
Well,
so
you know why that is.
Because I'm white, blah, blah, blah. But I don't get it. I've never seen it. I've never seen it happen to anybody of a different color.
Now let me tell you a true story about living in a gangster's paradise. I grew up in
tell
the
me about
mid-cities.
AGB.
I grew up in the mid-cities, all right? Ever heard of her? Probably not.
No.
Now, the only person, and again, melting pot. If you can think of a race, they're out there.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, like, not just black, but like African. One of the guys in my junior high, I'll never forget his name because it was so cool. From Africa.
Okay.
Like, came from Africa.
We had a few in Allen,
English,
but okay.
second language.
Yes.
All that stuff. Played football with the guy. Great guy. Nicest guy in the world. Yeah, we had black people, we had white people, we had Indian people, we had Asian people, we had Tongans, we had Hawaiians, we had Samoans, we had Mexicans, we had, again, if you can think of it, we probably had it. And the only student in school that I ever had any kind of issue with was some Mexican kid that I didn't even know. He was just on a trip to be a bully, I guess. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And what did I do? Nothing. Because my Samoan friend was ready to back me up.
Yeah.
Again, not experienced any of that on a personal level. And I know other people have.
Yeah.
I'm not saying my experience is the experience for everybody.
Right.
But I don't see, again, growing up there, working out there, going to college out there for a little bit, I don't see what young people today are making it out to be. I just, personally, I don't. Now, maybe their experiences are different because they're doing different things than I did or would have done. But I don't know.
I don't either. I don't see it. But if I did see it, then I would speak up, because on a human level, that's not right.
Yeah.
We have human rights, right?
Yep.
No race is better than another. I don't believe that at all. And I know you don't believe that at all.
No.
Even though you like to push my buttons every now and again.
I don't really like to push your buttons. I love to push your buttons.
That's your privilege coming out.
Yes.
Because you and me have the exact same privilege. We're Americans.
Well, so I heard I was watching a video the other day, and I heard this person asking their counterpart on the show or their guest or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because the guest was saying how, white people have this privilege, and the host asked, well, what privilege are you talking about? And they were both black. And he says, because I've had the same experiences, opportunities as my white peers. So what are you talking about? And the guest was this very wealthy black lady. I don't remember exactly what she did. She was some kind of entertainment, whether it was like music or acting or something. And they're like, how have you experienced, white people being privileged more so than yourself? And she says, well, I'm not talking about that. So, okay, well then what do you mean? Because you're obviously well off to do. Well, if a white person and a black person are both on welfare, the white person has privilege. I said, well, how so? Because the white person is more likely to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and get out of that situation. Again, that comes down to a personal level, but the opportunity is still there. I haven't seen any opportunities or looking for jobs. I haven't seen any job ads or anything that say, hey, white people only can apply. Or here's the white job ads. Here's everyone else's job ads.
Yeah. Well, you know what I have seen?
What's that?
Now, this has been in historical books and magazines and stuff. I have seen where it says help wanted, and right below it says no Irish.
Interesting.
Irish may not apply. Now, being Irish, I expect you to apologize to me.
Yeah. Yeah. You hear that, audience? He's talking to you. He ain't talking to me. He knows better than that. He knows who the boss is around here.
He knows who wears the pants.
I'll tell you what. I know what the problem is. Ain't got no color in it. I mean, ain't got no gas in it.
Yeah.
I think Morgan Freeman, and we discussed this before, but I think Morgan Freeman was on point when he said, that the problem with racism is that we just keep talking about it.
Yes. Stop talking about it and stop being a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Morgan Freeman one of the best actors out there in history, said it. How long ago was that? 10 years ago?
Oh, yeah, at least.
I mean, boom, it's right there.
Well,
I'm going to stop calling you a white man if you stop calling me a black man and we're just men.
We're just men.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
How easy is that?
Yep.
And on that note,
you get on the reparations train.
Oh my gosh, California.
They've brought up many times, they being people, have brought up many times, well, what about my ancestors? I think it was Pierce Morgan on one of his shows. He was talking about that. What about my ancestors? They came from England or Ireland or wherever they came from, and there were slaves in his family tree. Mm-hmm. And the guest, who happened to be a black lady, who was pro reparations, was saying, "Well, we're not talking about that though. We're talking about this one single area that needs reparations or that deserves it." Well, if you're going to do that, and I'm not on board with that at all,
no,
because I don't think anybody today living in our generation, our parents, our kids, any of that, has suffered at the hands of slavery in the United States.
Nope.
Nor have anybody that had their families had slaves. It's not like, oh yeah, my mom grew up with the slave housemaid. No.
Or the indigent servant.
Indentured servants. Yep.
Oh, what did I said it wrong. Dang it.
It's okay.
Good old public education.
Privilege. But if we're going to play that game or go that route, then we need to trace back everybody's lineage.
Yeah.
And get everybody reparations for the sins of their fathers. Yeah. And then where does it stop, though? So your kids, do they also get reparations? And then their kids, and then their kids? And like, where does it stop?
It will never stop if it even starts.
Yeah.
And there was a video, I believe you showed me on TikTok, where California has now held hostage the 2024 election if an elected official does not have that on the books.
Yeah, several of the folks in the California community have come out saying, if reparations are not a part of your platform, then don't expect our vote.
Okay, that's your choice.
You know what? Let's take it back even further.
Okay.
We're living on stolen land, right? Quote, stolen land.
Okay.
We won it, right? Because that's what you did back then.
Yeah, you fought and then you won.
Which tribe do we give it back to? And then which tribe do they give it back to? And so on and so forth to the beginning of time.
Yeah. There's
no way.
It's so complex that you don't know who to give it back to. Because we can't give it back to Mexico because we're here in Texas, right? Well, and Mexicans can't give it back to Spain, and Spain can't give it back to the Native Americans, the Plain Indians. I mean, you can't, because at some point you hit prehistory, which is unwritten history.
Did you take it?
I never took it. No, I was born here.
So who are you supposed to give it to?
I gave it to myself every night.
Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen,
Thanks for coming to the show.
But to wrap it up, white supremacy and racism and being white, in my opinion, are not synonymous with one another.
No.
I think anybody can be racist. Anybody can be a supremacist. Anybody can be evil. Anybody can be good. Anybody, I mean, it can be on an individual level. But I don't think you can categorically say this group of people as a whole are automatically responsible for this or guilty for that. I mean, World War II.
I don't know. Wrap it up.
We're all Germans responsible?
You are?
No, my family was out of there before then.
Yeah, that's true. No, not all Germans. Because, take it back, Civil War, just like the Germans in World War II, the Civil War Americans had the, oh goodness gracious, it's going to kill me now, the railroad, Underground Railroad.
Yeah.
For getting the slaves out of the South and getting them into the North. And eventually they had to go to Canada because that's where freedom was. There were Germans in World War II that were hiding Jewish families to get them out of Germany. Were all Germans bad? No.
Yeah. So the idea of labeling one group and holding their feet to the fire does not hold water, in my opinion.
Well, that's good. I'm so glad to hear that. Thanks, friends. The nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Don't get used to it. That's the second nicest thing I've said to you.
That's true. I just don't remember the first.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither.
Me neither. Well, thanks for having me on this touchy subject.
Yeah. Thanks for jumping in.
Of course. I'll go head first. Feet first.
Yeah, feet first. Like a newborn. Come on.
I wouldn't know. I popped out like Alien. I'm here.
It's always nice to get the perspective of a racist. So thank you for joining. I kid. JT's not racist. He's not aware.
I'm not.
No, I still kid. No, but we do like to show different perspectives, and you grew up one way, I grew up another way, the person next door grew up a different way. Everybody's experience varies.
Yep.
And if you, audience, would like to share maybe some insights, something that we missed, or hey, you know what, you had this experience that we didn't have, whatever the case, feel free to email us. Feel free to comment on any of the platforms that we're on.
And don't forget to subscribe.
We'd love to hear from you.
Yes, we would. And don't forget to follow the Facebook page.
Yeah, smash that
like button. All right, bud. Well, I will see you later.
Well, let's go ahead and take it back. And
as always, we'd like to say thank you for stopping by and listening to the podcast.
Yeah, we realized that you could have been doing anything way more productive, but you chose to waste your time with us.
We look forward to talking about absolutely nothing with you next time.
If you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, please email us at
jtandrewshow@gmail.com or visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/JTDrewShow.